Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Nikitinaknits. My name is Evgeniya and in this video I'm sharing about my July favorites, new knitting patterns of July that grabbed my attention so much that I would knit every single pattern myself. And because of that, I know about the yarn, I know about the construction, and I studied every single detail about this pattern specifically because I'm considering knitting them in the future. And that's why I always comment on the yarn choice recommended by the designer and my personal opinion, would I go with this or would I go with something else, and the construction. So by the end of the video, you don't only have patterns in your head, but you actually know how it's knitted up and maybe some ideas for the yarn choice. So grab your knitting, grab your favorite and drink. Today I'm having some sparkling water because it's extremely hot and I can't have my favorite teas. And let's start with the first pattern. And let me start immediately with something that blew my mind this month. Polo by Liudmyla Babintseva. I swear, every day I'm picking up my knitting and I'm thinking about this polo. I cannot stop dreaming about this project, but I'm not going to be able to knit it at least 1 year because I'm expecting a baby and it's going to take a lot of time. So all of you who do have time for that, please knit it. I want to see versions and I think it's so beautiful. All of the details about it are so perfect. So basically it's a combination of everything that I like in just one piece. First of all, it's very small needles. It is a fingering weight yarn. I think it's knitted on 3mm needles, so I will point on the screen. The tension is 27.5 stitches per 10 centimeters in pattern, and we have a lot of interesting details in this polo. First of all, the technical aspect of it, how perfectly it is fitting the body. We have perfectly designed polo with a lot of different decreases, increases, band in the neck, and double knit v-neck. And I would like actually to have 2 versions of such pattern. And on her page on Instagram, we can see that she's already knitting a winter version with wool with a long sleeve in red. And I would like this polo with a long sleeve as well. So what else to say about this design? This is so much work, but it's so versatile because we can wear it in summer if we choose summer yarn, and we can wear it as a transition piece in autumn and spring. And if we pick up the wool and something warm and make it a long sleeve, it could be a perfect jumper for the winter. So the yarn that is recommended is Roksolana Mercy, and it is a blend of wool and cotton. This is a beautiful blend for the summer. If you don't mind wool in your summer garments, I don't mind it, and I find Roksolana Mercy a beautiful yarn. Roksolana brand overall, super affordable according to my budget, and extremely high quality and beautiful color palette. I like this yarn, and usually if I like the yarn and it is recommended by designer, I prefer to not risk. Every yarn behaves differently, even if it's the same quality, even if it's the same metrage, it is differently spun and differently made. So if I like the yarn, I always go with the recommended yarn. But for the winter version, I was thinking about holding 2 strands of baby yak lace together. So baby yak lace from Tibetan fibers is a fiber that I already tried, but in worsted or aran weight. So baby yak lace is 100% yak, and if you hold it double, I guess you should achieve light fingering or fingering weight. I knitted a neck warmer in their heavy DK weight or worsted weight yarn, and I cannot get enough of this yarn. So I want something else with this yarn, and I think it could be perfect for such project. I don't know the needle size yet, but the tension is 27.5 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I guess we should be able to achieve it approximately on 3mm needles. So the way you knit it is very interesting. I don't know all of the details because the pattern is not out yet as I'm recording this, but from the pictures on Instagram, I could understand that you probably knit the back panel first, increasing for the shoulder line behind the shoulder. Then you're picking up stitches for the right front, for the left front, and you're increasing for the neckline. You're knitting the double knitting V together with the whole garment, and you're knitting the sleeves at the same time. Then you're reaching to the underarms, you're splitting for sleeves, and you're knitting the body down to desired length. After everything is done, right in the end, you're doing the collar, picking up stitches from the whole neckline, and knitting the neckband and the whole collar together. The neckband is not so easy to knit and requires some patience, but it is something new to learn, and it is strengthening the whole garment, which is very important for plant-based fibers if you choose some for the summer, especially if it contains silk or viscose. These type of fibers are really swimming off, and they do need a lot of strength. The next one is Floret Tee by Knitmate. It is so feminine and simple and wearable at the same time. I would just throw it over my shoulders on the beach, or just over the top and the shorts or the skirt. And it is also very beautiful to just dress up in the evening. So you can pick a lot of different yarns for this pattern, because lace work is a bit forgiving for the imperfection of plant-based fibers. So we can be completely hot and breathable in such garments, which is actually missing in my wardrobe. So I would like to knit this for the next year. This design has a perfect balance between being extremely feminine and bloomy and reminding of flowers, especially in this pink color, but at the same time, a very simple finishing. I think we have little I-cords or any sort of cord finishings on the top and in the bottom and in the sleeves, and very deep armhole and very simple silhouette kind of balances this extremely feminine motif and creates a very harmonious look, which I really appreciate in the designs. So let's speak about the yarn. The recommended yarn is Tin Line by Sandnesgarn, one of the recommended yarns, and you're holding in double to achieve 21 stitch in stitch pattern on 4.5mm needles. So it is a DK weight pattern. I would go with the recommended yarn. I've only heard good reviews about it, and the color palette is just gorgeous, and the price is quite good, so I would use this. The construction is top down seamlessly, but it's not explained exactly how it's knitted up. We do see that it's a raglan, and I just guess you start at the back. Probably there's some short rows, because this designer is very smart and cautious about the construction, and I don't see any issues in the feet, like the neck is not really choking the designer in the pictures. So I guess there should be some short rows, but I don't know. And then you're increasing for the raglan lines and just keep on knitting in the round with the lace motif, splitting for sleeves, knitting the body down, finishing the body and the sleeves. Very simple and not at the same time because of the lace motif, and it is a beautiful, beautiful blouse that I want to have in my wardrobe. The next one is Lake Screw Cardigan by Ozetta, and I'm actually featuring this designer the first time in my videos because the style of Ozetta is not really correlating to mine much, but this cardigan is something I want to knit. It is really, really beautiful. I don't know why the other series of Lake's pullover, Lake's cardigan, V-neck didn't really grab my attention much, but this one really did, and I find it very balanced and beautiful. The crew neck, the button band, and the whole saddle shoulder design is laying so harmoniously and perfect in this specific cardigan that I would like to knit it and wear it as a jacket or a cardigan for my terrace when it's cool outside. And I personally can see a lot of days where I would just grab it and put it on and go to do groceries and just go out for a walk. And I basically can see so many different scenarios where I could wear the cardigan. It is a very boxy, very oversized fit, very usual to Ozetta patterns. So you do have room inside for one more garment, like a sweater or a t-shirt or even a high neck layer, and you can layer everything off with this jacket. I would say I wouldn't even call it a cardigan. The recommended yarn is Wool Dreamers Sauna, which is 100% wool. It is a fingering weight and it is held double for this pattern. You need to achieve gauge of 18 stitches per 10 centimeters on 4 to 4.5mm needles. And Ozetta almost constantly goes for Wool Dreamers yarn. I don't know if it's because they're collaborating or she's just a fan of these yarns. I love Wool Dreamers. They're producing their yarn in Spain and they're very ethical, very responsible brand. But I don't know if I would go with this specific combination, because if I look at the stitch definition, it is very beautiful in the stockinette, but in the button band and the ribbing, it looks a little bit messy because it is a very rough woolen spun, and the yarn thread is not really even. So I don't know if I were to go with this yarn. However, I do have another option. Also from Wool Dreamers, I swatched with 90 Varas. 90 Varas is 100% merino wool, and it is softer than Saona. Saona is a bit scratchy, it's quite dry. 90 Varas is also quite dry, but it is softer. So I tried this yarn last year. It is freshly released in 2025. I do have a whole separate video on new yarns released on 2025 with swatching. So take a look if you haven't. A lot of beautiful yarns. And that yarn is there. So you can take a look at the swatch. And I swatched with one strand, I blocked it and I steamed it, and the stitch definition looks beautiful. So I'm really wondering how it is going to look if I do the same with two strands and how the ribbing would look like. So I would experiment and go for that because I do have the whole bowl in my stash, and see how it's building up, because we have a crew neck here, and since I'm very sensitive to scratchy wool, it would really be important to choose less scratchy wool if I can. And the construction is completely seamless. Tom down, it is a saddle shoulder, and I do like how saddle shoulder sits on the body. Nothing is being pulled too much to the front or to the back, and the shaping is usually easy to make. So designers who know how to shape the garments really well usually make really beautiful saddle shoulder constructions. So you knit separately two saddles together, then you knit in the back panel, two front panels, picking up stitches for the sleeves and knitting them with some short rows for the sleeve cap, and achieving the desired lengths both in the sleeves and in the body. After that, you're doing the button band and sewing up the buttons, and of course finishing the collar. Quite beautiful, simple but still engaging design, and I'm sure it's going to gain a lot of popularity, just like other Lakes series did. And I'm so excited to see a lot of versions. I'm already seeing a lot of versions from testers, and they're also beautiful. And I think this project shouldn't take so much time because of 18 stitch gauge. The next design is going to be again from Ukrainian designer. And before I continue, I want to say that on my channel I have two videos about Ukrainian designers. The first one is 10 Ukrainian knitting designers to knit from, that you can find the link in the description down below. And there is another video with Ukrainian knitting patterns that is also down below. So don't miss on them, because you can meet a lot of different talents from my country. And all of them release their patterns also in English, and most of them are available on Ravelry as well. So let's speak about Roksolana jumper by Natalia Aksyonova. And this is a jumper that was published on Ravelry in English version this month, but the actual pattern is not new, not fresh. And when I saw this pattern and it was only available in Ukrainian, I got quite sad because I wanted to share about this and I couldn't because it was not available in English. And when I saw that she released the English version, I got really, really happy because I love it. It is so simple, but so detailed and delicate at the same time that I want to wear it. I want to look at it. I want to have it in my wardrobe. So what do we have here? We have a plain yoke construction, very simple yoke blouse, where we can clearly see all of the beautiful increases that form these very gentle, delicate lines. And it is all accentuated with a beautiful neckline that is either folded over or it is double knit, I don't know exactly. Open sleeves that don't have many decreases and maybe even have increases because they're open. And we have these bands also on the sleeves and in the bottom of the garment. I like how the model on the picture was tucking in the whole jumper. The garment is very airy and light and drapey, so it is very possible and probably comfortable to be wearing it tucked in. So again, we have this balance between gorgeous femininity and minimalism. Very deep yoke and deep armholes, comfortable to wear. We don't have to sweat into the garment. Still warm because it's wool and mohair. I'm going to speak about the yarn now. And breathability because it's quite an open gauge and it is really airy. So the yarn choice by designer is Italian yarn and cone, which a lot of people don't have the access to. It is lace merino wool held together with a silk mohair thread. Since most people don't have access to this yarn, even myself, I would choose Ito Kosho, which is 90% merino and 10% cashmere, held together with Ito Sensai. And I would like to try this Japanese brand. I've never tried it, but I'm so impressed with the color palette and overall Japanese approach to creating yarns, things, needles. The meterage is very interesting. 25-gram skeins or cones, and each one of them contains 175 meters. The good thing is that we don't actually need a lot of yarn. We're having 19 stitches per 10 centimeters on 5mm needles. So it is a very fast project and we don't need a lot of yarn. I'm so excited to try it out. The construction is top down. You're starting with the yoke without the neck band. You're increasing for the yoke. After that, you're doing some short rows back and forth at the back of the garment, knitting the whole garment down and the sleeves also down in the round. After that, you're picking up stitches at the collar and finishing it up. So this pattern, at least on Ravelry, is not explicitly described in English. There is more information in Ukrainian, but I would suggest that is not very beginner friendly pattern. I don't know. I would like to buy it and try it and see what is the English version looking like. But if you're intermediate knitter and if you knitted yokes before, you would be completely fine, I guess, because it's a very simple design. And the last one for today is Bubbly Blouse by Eunji. It is also a Korean designer that I adore, and I would like to knit a few of her patterns that I mentioned in my Korean pattern roundups. I do have an entire playlist on my channel with Japanese and Korean pattern designs. If you want to get inspired and if you haven't seen that playlist, I do suggest to go. There are summer patterns, winter patterns. Autumn is coming soon, so maybe you can find a lot of inspiration there. The link is going to be also down below. So this designer now released this gorgeous, completely transparent, airy blouse that is super appropriate for this heat that we're having right now. And designer is offering us two versions. The first one is with the ruffles and the second one is with the peacock edge. Depending on your preferences, you can make it more dressy and more cute or more minimalistic and more formal, you could say. Also in the middle, we have the imitation of the button band. It is not a cardigan, it is a blouse. In the middle, we have different stitch motif going on, accompanied with bubbles that imitate the buttons. So you could either go with that or skip this whole imitation and just cast on the necessary amount of stitches to just keep on with the pattern if you want to complete eyelet stitch motif pattern, complete lace blouse. I would probably do that. I would probably skip the middle and just keep it completely minimalistic, just like the design from Knitmate that I previously mentioned today in the video, to create breathable lacy blouse. For me, the design looks both very dressy and very beach appropriate. I don't know, I would probably have to knit two versions, one for going out in the evening in the summer, knitted with more special yarn, and more simple blouse that I would just grab in my beach bag and just go to the beach and drop it over my shoulders or just put it on if it's a little bit chilly. It's a very versatile pattern, even though it looks quite complicated and demanding. The yarn weight is light fingering. The recommended yarn is Nakyang yarn Sol, which is a mix of cotton, paper, polyester, and rayon. So Nakyang yarn is available in Europe. I don't know if they have this specific quality in Germany in the warehouse, but it is a Korean yarn. And while I would like to try it, I would go for more lightweight and more simple version. I would go for knitting for olive cotton merino or any other sort of merino and cotton blends. Knitting for olive cotton merino is 70% merino and 30% cotton, and because of that we are achieving a lightweight garment. So if you don't mind wool, that could be a beautiful option, and the color palette of this yarn is very beautiful. If you don't like wool in your garments, the completely plant-based fibers could work perfectly for this project because it's lace work and it is very drapey, and if the garment deforms, it's not a big issue because we don't mind it. It is very oversized blouse. We're knitting this on 3mm needles and we need to achieve the gauge of 20 stitches per 10 centimeters in the eyelet stitch motif. It is a top-down seamless raglan. I don't know if there are any short rows because when I saw pictures from testers and people who knit it, the back and the front look completely equal towards each other. So there is not really back raising in relation to the front. And while I don't really like this, I don't mind this for this type of garment specifically because I'm going to do it oversized if I ever knit it. And even if the back is deep and the front is a little bit up, I don't mind that, not a big deal. Anyways, then you're increasing for the raglan lines, achieving the necessary length of the yoke. splitting for sleeves, knitting the body down, and finishing the sleeves in the round. So very simple. I think you can even simplify it more with I-cords if you don't want any picot edges, and that will strengthen the garment even more and give you even more minimalistic look. So a lot of ways to experiment with this pattern, and I hope you got inspired and you can add even more versions on Ravelry. So hopefully I can have it on my needles next summer. So that was it for today's video. I'm so inspired, I'm so excited as usually, and I'm really grateful that I have a YouTube channel and I can speak about these patterns, because this way I can release my excitement and maybe not be so sad that I cannot knit all of these projects. Especially now with the baby coming, I'm going to have even less time for knitting. But if I can speak about it and inspire you, I already feel like this energy was released into the space. If you would like to see this type of videos every single month that I'm releasing, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell button, so when the video is out, you're immediately notified about it and you can enjoy the new patterns. And also let me know which design did you like from the whole list and what would you knit from this list. I would be very curious to know. So one more time, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your summer knits and please survive the heat the way you can. And I'm hoping to see you soon in my next video.